dark. Almost every beginning is surrounded by darkness. And music, free to use, that won't make us have to deal with copyright claims. And the intro, as long as possible. Secret Lore 2025. The RCN Arc. Part 88, 298 overall. Greetings, and welcome to the history of Secret Lore 2025. It won't last short. Dive in. Secret Lore 2025, officially titled Secret Lore 2025, the RCN Arc, is the third season of Secret Lore and a sequel to Secret Lore 2024, consisting of 90 parts produced by Russian creative Neptune. It began with the 211th part, released on January 1, 2025. The reason for this was that parts 201 to 210 took place in the fake Season 3, which occurred during the Christian Logomaker 635's downfall eras 1 and 2, June to November 2024, to originally speed up the series, as it was declining. Russian creative Neptune wanted this season to be finished by August 2025, but the timeline has been extended to December 2025 due to the extended production time required for certain parts. He has served as the sole host for this season, as TCLM 635 expressed his satisfaction with the new KaiMaster layout since November 14, 2024. He wished to prevent the parts from being broken or glitchy. Due to the reduction in Discord's file size limit, it has been decided to release the parts on YouTube instead, specifically through Russian creative Neptune Films. 10 parts were released in January. All parts released that month were inspired by the early parts of Secret Lore 2024 Season 1. 216 was the first part to receive a Content ID claim after using Sugar Rush by PIXL, a Monster Cat release. It was also the most viewed part ever. 220 was the shortest part from that month, with the first white hole update of 2025 and a runtime of 30 seconds. 11 parts were released in February. 222 has a lot of 2s, including throwbacks to February 22nd in past years and the famous Tuesday fact. 224 introduced the Yaliaktrme 877 Videomaker 888, who had been absent for about 5 years since his last appearance. There would be a story about how he came back in the future. During Cabero Channel 30 SIXS Rampage Era and Power City Night War 5, the series dedicated 2 parts, 224 and 225, to these significant events. There have been talks about the fictional Gorokov Metro in the RCN Republic, which has undergone a major overhaul over the past 2 years. 6 parts were released in March. RCN took his first break from the series between 231 and 232, which was between February 27th and March 8th. This month, TCLM 635 celebrated his birthday, coinciding with the release of 235. It featured a ranking of his birthdays over the years. 236 delved into the evil things Cabero Channel 36 did during his Rampage era. It was originally set to be released on March 6th, but it was postponed to March 25th. Blue Donut Takeover was also announced. 9 parts were released in April. Blue Donut Takeover started on April Fool's Day with the release of 238. As predicted, the series has been put in danger, just like Seasons 1 and 2. A poll was conducted on whether the series should be saved or taken over. Only one user voted for a takeover, while the rest chose to save. Eventually, Blue Donut Takeover ended in 244, making Blue Donut fail his arc. The month ended with a nonsensical tutorial on how to make a Secret Lore part. Elements from Part 220 were used, including its destroyed form. 12 parts were released in May. This was the beginning of the modern era for the season. However, references from Battle for Dream Island ruined the overall production for Secret Lore, beginning with 247, which references BFDIE 4. The reason for this may be due to RCN starting to watch full-length BFDI episodes in April. Olive Video Editor was a new editor for this series, and it was used for 255, the second half of the history of Secret Lore 2024, and 257. It was free and open source, as was Kden Live, which was used in 183. The most disappointing part of Season 3 appears to be 256, which TCLM635 described as unfunny, featuring a boring topic that ends in RCN's transformation into Nito by Blue Donut. 14 parts were released in June. Running from May to June, the series was filled with more BFDI references and nonsense humor, and this marked the beginning of the downfall of Season 3. Following confirmation of their copyright-free status, night mode releases have been used more frequently since 260. There has even been a comparison between no copyright sounds and night mode in 266, with NCS ending up winning. RCN revealed his country house in 263, but the credits mentioned 2763, which is a BFDI number. A continuation of Secret Lore 64 was in 264, but it crashed at the end due to RCN being lazy in making at least one level. 268 blew up in popularity, gaining 91 views within the first day. It became the most viewed part ever, surpassing 216, which was released 6 months ago. The series began to concentrate on Tutmate's 77 VM888 stories and lore starting from 269. Lime Donut made a return in 272, marking his second appearance in the series since 155, which was released in October 2024. 9 parts were released in July. This is the third month to have BFDI references. Gosh, how many of them can I count throughout this season? 276 was about improvements at his country house. As with 263, it also mentions the BFDI number 2763, especially in the thumbnail. Another somewhat disappointing part of Season 3 appears to be 278, which used unfunny jokes and made fun of Jackjelify. What's even worse is that the majority of that part referenced BFDI, but toward the end, it wasn't a problem. There had been no ideas for 279, so he borrowed BFDI references once more, especially in the credits. Both this and 269 were originally intended to be funnier than 69 and 169, but that idea has been scrapped since then. RCN was in Okalovka from July 17th to 20th, during which time he produced 280 and 281, but they weren't released until 279 had been released. 3 parts were released in August. During that month, the series experienced another decline, and no new part have been released after 284, as the series entered a hiatus due to a lack of creative direction and real-world obligations. Donut's third arc was also announced, but it would have failed in the next part. 2 parts were released in October. The series hiatus ends with 285, featuring the unsuccessful Donut's third arc, which was announced almost 2 months ago. In this arc, Donut attempts another takeover following recent setbacks. At the end, Blue Donut does so as well, but also fails. 7 parts were released in November. The series slowly started to become active again after the releases of 286 to 289 between late October and early November. RCN commemorated the 10th anniversary of his YouTube channel by releasing 288, featuring Lime Donut's story of how he became Lime, as teased in 281. 290 marked the moment there were 10 parts remaining before the end of Season 3. 293 not only marked the end of November, but also the 2025 chapters of Mythbusters. 7 parts are to be released in December. 294, produced in June 2025, is the last nonsensical part of Season 3 and references BFDI 4 and BFDI 9. 295 mainly focuses on the opposite of 260, which is the coldest days of 2025, but the first half was about a glitch at the bus stop that showed a temperature of 85 degrees Celsius in late January 2025, after which the part was named. And so, Secret Lore 2025, the RCN arc is over, but not until 299 and 300 are released. At the time of this writing, 296 and 297 were not finished yet. All things are expected to end by December 2025, should that come to pass, or perhaps not. This is Steffan, the narrator of the history of Secret Lore 2025, signing off. Goodbye.